Okay. It's mine. Oh, gosh. No pressure. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us today. Buenos días a todos y bienvenidos a su Capitolio. Gracias por acompañarnos esta mañana. My name is Aldo Solano. I'm the Census Project Manager for Governor Kate Brown, working under the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Yay! Mi nombre es Aldo Solano y soy el gerente del Censo 2020 para la gobernadora Kate Brown, trabajando en la Oficina de Diversidad, Equidad y Inclusión. I'm happy to see so many familiar faces joining us today as we kick off Oregon's 2020 census efforts and proclaim April 1st as Census Day for our state. Me da mucha alegría estar rodeado por varias caras familiares el día de hoy para el lanzamiento oficial de las preparaciones para el Censo 2020 y para proclamar el 1 de abril como el Día del Censo en nuestro estado. In exactly 1 year, the census will be in full swing, and Oregonians will get the opportunity to participate in a core process of our democracy and make sure that they are counted, that Oregon is counted. En exactamente 1 año estaremos en medio del censo y todos los residentes de Oregon tendremos la oportunidad de participar en un proceso que es base para nuestra democracia, para asegurarnos de que Oregon cuenta y poder decir yo cuento. Over the last couple of months, we've been engaging in conversations with partners across the state with the purpose of coming together and figuring it out how we can best prepare for the 2020 census and ensure an accurate and fair count for Oregon. Durante los últimos meses, hemos estado en conversaciones con varios compañeros del estado con el propósito de reunirnos y planear cómo podemos tener un censo preciso y justo. These conversations are what's given birth to the Oregon Complete Count Committee. This committee will serve as the 2020 Census Advisory Body to Governor Brown in our state, and will serve as the brain hub charged with forming the strategies that will ensure an accurate and fair count. Estas conversaciones han dado luz al Comité para un Censo Completo de Oregon. Este comité servirá como el consejo consultivo para la gobernadora Kate Brown y para el estado, y estará a cargo de formular las estrategias para garantizar un censo preciso y justo. Today, I am joined, first of all, by members of the Complete Count Committee, which are sitting right behind me. Yay! Round of applause for them. And I'm also joined by 3 incredible women who I have the utmost respect and admiration for. I'm getting chills started thinking about that I get to open up this press conference and I have the following speakers giving the remarks about the census. After all remarks are done, I want to just remind folks that Governor Brown will proceed to sign a proclamation highlighting the importance of the 2020 census and proclaiming April 1st as Census Day. And after the signing, there will be opportunities for photos. With that being said, it is my complete honor to introduce our first speaker, an exemplary leader who has accepted to step up to the plate and agreed to co-chair the Complete Count Committee. Please join me in welcoming from House District 38, Representative Andrea Salinas.
Thank you, Aldo. Good morning. I'm State Representative Andrea Salinas, representing House District 38, Lake Oswego, and Southwest Portland. Are you going to translate?
That's right. That's right. I'm going to send right in there. Sorry.
All right.
Buenos días. Mi nombre es Andrea Salinas y soy la diputada estatal del Distrito 38, representando a Lake Oswego y el suroeste de Portland.
First, I would like to start by thanking Governor Brown for appointing me to the Oregon Complete Count Committee. I'm honored to take on this role and to be able to serve Oregonians beyond sine die and into the interim.
Por primero, quiero agradecerle a nuestra gobernadora Kate Brown por haberme nombrado al comité para un censo completo de Oregón. Es un honor tomar este cargo y poder servir al Estado más allá de la sesión legislativa.
As a policymaker in Oregon's legislature, I'm constantly asking myself, who is this policy going to affect? Who is it going to help? And who might it hurt? But I also ask myself, whose voices aren't being heard and who should be at the table? And are the intended benefits going to promote equity for all communities in all corners of our state?
Como diputada de la legislatura de Oregon, constantemente me pregunto, ¿a quiénes afectará esta legislación? ¿A quiénes le va a ayudar o perjudicar? ¿Promociona equidad? ¿Cuáles son las voces que no están escuchando, pero deberían estar en la mesa?
As co-chair of the Oregon Complete Count Committee, and I need to thank my other co-chair, Chi Nguyen from Apano, I want to ensure that all Oregonians participate in the census count and feel safe doing so. But I'll be honest, this could be a very difficult problem if the Supreme Court, if the Supreme Court upholds the Trump administration's unilateral decision to add a citizenship question to the 2020 census.
Como copresidenta del Comité para un Censo Completo, quiero asegurarme de que todos los residentes del Estado participen en el censo, pero también que se sientan seguros al hacerlo. Pero debo ser honesta, esto va a ser realmente difícil y problemático si la Corte Suprema decide incluir la pregunta de ciudadanía que la administración del presidente Trump quiere poner.
The census has not had a question regarding citizenship since 1950, and research continues to show that citizenship questions discourage participation and could lead to an egregious undercount of immigrants and communities of color.
El censo no ha tenido una pregunta sobre la ciudadanía desde los años 1950, y varios estudios concluyen de que el agregar la pregunta tendrá un efecto negativo en la participación de parte de la comunidad inmigrante y de personas de color.
The U.S. Constitution calls for a decennial census of every person living in the country, not just documented citizens. As a daughter of a Mexican immigrant, this is personal to me, as I know how hard these individuals need to work in order to create a better life for themselves and their families.
La Constitución de los Estados Unidos es clara en el mandato de que se debe contar a cada persona que vive en el país sin importar su estatus migratorio. Como hija de un inmigrante mexicano, esto para mí es personal, y porque yo entiendo lo duro que los inmigrantes tienen que trabajar para crear una vida mejor para sus familias.
Census data directly affects congressional seats, electoral college votes, and the distribution of hundreds of billions of dollars of federal tax funds to states and our local communities.
La información colectada por el censo afecta la representación de nuestro estado en el Congreso al nivel federal, los votos electorales y la distribución de cientos de billones de dólares cada año para nuestras comunidades.
As I've been serving on the Ways and Means Subcommittee on Human Services, I have a distinct perspective on the need for these federal funds that the state relies on to provide health care and human service supports to our most vulnerable citizens.
Mi experiencia en el subcomité de apropiaciones para servicios humanos me ha dado más perspectiva de lo esencial que son los dólares federales para poder proveer servicios de salud y de otros servicios humanos para las familias más vulnerables de nuestro estado.
A complete count for our state is the first step to creating equitable policy for all Oregonians. As co-chair of this committee, I intend to live up to our Oregon values of equality and inclusivity and make sure everyone is counted and every voice in this state is heard. Gracias. Sorry about that. Now, I would like to introduce who I think many of you in this room know. She grew up here in Oregon, lifelong Oregonian, has been contributing greatly to all of our communities. But I like to call her the Queen of Pecún, Reina Lopez.
It's fitting because my name also means queen, so parents thought a lot, very highly of me when I was born. Good morning. My name's Reina Lopez. I'm the executive director of Pecún, Oregon's farm worker union, and for several decades, Pecún has been at the forefront of the immigrant rights movement in Oregon. Buenos días, soy Reina Lopez, la directora ejecutiva de Pecún, la Unión de Campesinos, y por décadas hemos estado de frente del movimiento inmigrante y por la lucha para asegurarnos que nuestras familias tengan derechos aquí en Oregon. The ever-present fight to ensure that immigrant families and communities of color have their voices heard has once again called us to join the effort for a fair and accurate 2020 census count. La presente lucha para asegurarnos que las familias inmigrantes y personas de color tengan sus voces escuchadas otra vez está traída a cuestión, y nosotros por eso estamos reuniéndonos a esta lucha para tener una justa y una buena cuenta del census del 2020. The 2020 census is extremely important for communities of color. So many of our programs that are funded through census data are the same programs that most immigrant families and communities of color rely on to sustain themselves and ultimately thrive in their communities. La cuenta del census del 2020 es extremadamente importante para nuestras comunidades. Hay muchos programas de que son fundados y financiados por la misma información del census, y esos mismos programas son programas que muchas familias de color comunidades diversas y comunidades inmigrantes necesitan para poder tener vidas buenas. Additionally, we understand and take very seriously how an undercount in 2020 will render many Oregonians invisible to policymakers who won't see them in the census data and therefore won't be able to serve them appropriately. Nosotros entendemos la gravedad y lo serio de que la realidad es de que muchos habitantes de Oregon se van a ser invisibles al census, pero lo malo es que los políticos y las personas responsables de hacer el presupuesto y leyes no van a tener la información completa para poder servir a nuestra comunidad en una forma informada e equitativa. The looming possibility of a citizenship question on the Census 2020 questionnaires only elevates the already heightened sense of fear, anxiety, and mistrust of our government that exists in our communities. La posibilidad de una pregunta sobre el estatus de ciudadanía en el Census 2020 eleva el miedo en la comunidad y la ansiedad y nos quita más la fe en las acciones del gobierno. According to a study done by the Population Research Center of Portland State University, roughly 1 in 9 Oregonians live with at least one non-citizen in their home, including 1 out of 5 children under the age of 9. En un estudio que fue hecho por la Universidad del Estado de Portland, dice que 1 de cada 10 oregonianos viven con alguien que no es ciudadano en su casa. Y de 1 de cada 5 niños bajo de la edad de 9 años también. Esto significa que el miedo de que 500,000 de personas en el estado están al riesgo de no ser contadas por el census. This means that nearly 500,000 people in the state of Oregon automatically are at much higher risk of not being counted by our census. Over the last couple of months, PECUN has been working with tribal communities, AAPI communities, rural communities, low-income communities, immigrant communities from all across the state to think about some strategies that we can do to ensure that the 2020 census is not only accurate, but it's also fair and safe for all people. En los últimos meses, PECUN se ha unido con líderes de la comunidad nativoamericana, indígena, asiáticos, afroamericanos, bajos ingresos, para encontrar una estrategia para que el bien colectivo y formas seguras y justas, para que nosotros sepamos qué se puede lograr cuando hacemos lo mejor que podamos hacer. We understand that an essential piece to achieving this will be by doing what we do best, which is organizing, it's empowering our communities, and really educating our communities on the importance of being counted on any potential risks that their participation could bring. Nosotros entendemos que es esencial que podamos ser contados y lo vamos a hacer en la forma que sabemos lo mejor, organizando, empoderando y educando a nuestra comunidad sobre la importancia de que ellos participen y sean contados en el census, pero también que sepan los riesgos que su participación pueda traer. With a full enumeration of all of our communities in their full diversity, without the full enumeration of our communities, we will lack the necessary understanding of who we are as Oregonians and what needs exist in our vulnerable communities. Sin tener una cuenta buena de nuestras comunidades y la diversidad llena de nuestra comunidad, nosotros no vamos a tener el entendimiento necesario para saber exactamente lo que las comunidades vulnerables necesitan. This is why we look forward to working together with our governor, legislators, partners across the state, across Oregon in order to ensure a fair and safe and accurate count in 2020. Por eso estamos trabajando colectivamente con la gobernadora, con legisladores, con una coalición que está por todo el estado para tener seguros que nosotros tengamos una cuenta que es justa, que es segura y que sea real para el año 2020. And with that collaboration in mind, I have the distinct honor, and actually this is the second time in a week that I've been introduced, so it's a true honor, of introducing someone who for many years has been an unwavering champion for our people, and we know will stand by us and protect our families here in Oregon no matter what comes at us by the federal government. Por eso, con esa colaboración en mente, tengo el honor distinto de introducir a alguien que ha sido una campeona para nuestra comunidad, para Oregon, y que nos va a proteger con todas las ganas que tiene contra cualquier cosa que nos eche el gobierno federal. Please help me welcome, por favor, ayúdenme a darle bienvenida a la gobernadora Kate Brown, Governor Kate Brown. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you all so much for being here. I know our federal partners are here. Thank you very much. Yay. Thanks to the ASL community providing an interpreter at very short notice. Thank you to Representative Salinas and Chair Wynn for agreeing to co-chair the Complete Count Committee. Thank you. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be declaring April 1st, 2020 as Census Day here in Oregon. And no, that's not an April Fool's joke.
Hola a todos, gracias por venir. Soy la gobernadora Kate Brown. Quiero darles las gracias a todos los presentes y poder decirles lo emocionada que estoy para proclamar el 1 de abril como el Día del Censo para el estado de Oregon.
I am very excited to have many members of the Complete Count Committee here today, and I want to thank them for their willingness to volunteer their time and energy to make sure that every Oregonian gets counted.
Estoy muy feliz de poder estar reunida con miembros del Comité para un Censo Completo aquí detrás de mí para que poder asegurarnos de que cada persona en Oregon sea contada.
It's really important because the census is truly the foundation of our democracy, and it's key to making sure that the state of Oregon has the resources we need to make sure that every single family has the support it needs to thrive.
El censo es demasiadamente importante porque realmente es la fundación de nuestra democracia y es algo realmente clave para que el estado de Oregon tenga los recursos que se necesitan para poder proveer servicios a nuestras familias en el estado.
An accurate census allows us to have better representation in Congress. It also tells the story of Oregon, who we are and where we are going.
Un censo preciso y justo nos da una imagen más representativa en el Congreso y también nos cuenta la historia de Oregon, quiénes somos y para dónde vamos.
An accurate and fair census count is an integral part of my mission to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion for all Oregonians, regardless of their race, color, religion, national origin, or citizenship status, gender identity, or expression, age, and disability.
Un censo completo y justo es una parte integral para nuestra visión para avanzar diversidad, equidad e inclusión para todos los oregonianos, sin pensar en de qué color son, de qué religión, de dónde vienen, su estatus migratorio, su expresión, su género sexual, su disabilidad o su edad.
Thank you, Aldo. If our goal is a complete and accurate count, then we have to reach out to every single one of these communities. That's why this will be the first cyber census where individuals have the option to complete census self-reporting via mail, phone, and online.
Si nuestra meta es poder tener un censo completo, tenemos que trabajar con las comunidades de todo el estado. Por eso es muy importante saber de que este va a ser el primer censo donde se va a tener la opción de llenar el cuestionario de manera por correo, por teléfono o por el internet.
Well, we have lots of work to do, and today marks 1 year from the start of the census. And that's why I'm very proud to proclaim April 1st, 2019 as Census Day. I know we've got some press here. I'll take some questions after I sign the proclamation, and we'll take some photos, and let's sign the proclamation. Come on over here, you guys. I said April 1st, 2019. It's April 1st, 2020. There we go. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Aldo. Let's do it. All right, let's get our co-chairs. Representative Salinas, you're right here. Let's come on up. Everybody else, gather around. Great. Do one more. All right. Anybody else need photos? Commissioner Stegman, thank you for joining us. Thanks for Multnomah County's solid support. We're going to need support from every single county across the state, so thank you. And Aldo, thank you for your leadership.
Yes.
Yay. All right. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
So
that.
honored to be able to spend time with you.
I'm going to do everything that we may help us to work with the complete county. Get part of $6,700,000.
Yes, we need the money. Thank you so much. Hi. Were you here earlier?
No, I just
okay.
came in right when it started.
Good to see you. It's really good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. Hi.
Jason Turner, JC.
Oh, thank you. I know you. Hi. Hi. Raina, thank you very much. I think we're good. All right. Questions?
Several folks mentioned the possibility of a citizenship question on the census. I was wondering if somebody could elaborate a bit more about why that question might be problematic for non-citizens.
Sure.
So,
And can you use the microphone, please?
Sure.
Oh, sure. There.
yeah. So we understand that our communities, specifically immigrant communities and communities of color, have been under a lot of fear lately, especially within the last 2 years. And it's very difficult to reach them and be able to have a sort of a face-to-face conversation about what's important, especially coming from any type of government agency. We understand that specifically having a question that ask somebody, I'm from the federal government and I want to ask you a few questions. Are you a citizen of the United States? It's going to have a huge detrimental impact on whether or not they're willing to participate or even open the door or make a phone call or go online to fill out a form. So that's why we're going to be working together, and that's the very purpose of the Complete Count Committee, that they're making sure that we have conversations with folks who serve and work with communities who may be affected by the possibility of this question, so we can think through the messaging that's most appropriate for folks so that they know what's going to be in the census, what are the risks, but also what are the benefits and how the census affects their everyday lives in terms of the services that it provides.
Well, what are the potential risks in answering that question?
I think part of the work of the Complete Count Committee is that, to have that conversation, to begin to dig deeper as to what are the potential risks. There's a lot of questions. I think at this point, there's there's more questions than answers. So we're going to be working, with a great group of folks that we have standing behind me to answer those questions and think about a plan.
On the federal level, do we know where this issue has been or when we can expect a decision?
Yes, there's a decision to be made by the Supreme Court either in April or up until the end of June.
What specifically will the state be doing to encouraging people to participate?
Yeah, so again, I think part of the work, the reason for this Complete Count Committee, this is the first time that the state comes together and forms a statewide Complete Count Committee from a variety of sectors and partners from across the state to think about the strategies. We've never come together in this way before, and this census specifically proves to be very challenging for many ways. So we're going to think through anything that we need to do from across the state to ensure that we have an accurate and a fair census.
Do you have plans in place so far?
Right. Yeah, so we're going to be having actually our first orientation meeting this week to sort of gather our thoughts around what's coming. Again, part of the challenge is that we don't exactly know what's coming. We don't know what the final form is going to look like. So it's difficult to really plan out a set strategy from here on forward without fully understanding what we have coming up against us.
Do we have time for one more question?
Great, okay.
Great job, Aldo.